Good evening, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to get on and talk to everybody tonight about Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Nah, let's talk about arbitration and notice of liability. See, when we have issues, generally they're communication issues. Because like I said, everything comes to the words. And I myself am an idiot, just like any other common man. But I'm far from stupid. And see, idiot means common man. That's all it is. Doesn't mean you're dumb, doesn't mean you're stupid. Just means you're a common man. And so when we come across problems with communication, particularly what I'm speaking of here is in commercial transactions and stuff, a lot of times we have a hard time dealing with it because we don't know how to speak to each other. And like I said, I'm an idiot, but I'm far from stupid. And in thinking about that, when I'm talking to other people, in regards to these commercial transactions, I have to speak in terms that are going to be more comprehensible for them. And the particular incident I'm going to talk about here tonight is I do my best not to deal with the commercial society at all, but through a doctrine of necessity, because I live in this secular society, I have to have Federal Reserve notes. And even that I try to minimize as much as possible. And so people will help me out with gratuities by sending money through Wal-Mart money transfer, because I have no commercial instruments whatsoever except for a form of identification that I can use to receive the money. And so the last time I was at Wal-Mart to pick up a money transfer, and it's just like always, they want to see that ID, that identification. Well, most time when they say, I need to see your ID, they want to take it from you and physically possess it. And what I want to convey here is I want people to comprehend that when you hand that instrument over, it's still a contract. You're still in a contract. Particularly in this instance, they made an offer. And they make an offer to do money transfers. Now, the money has already been transferred. Okay? And now when I go up there to pick up that money, they need certain information. And all they need to do is see that information to verify it. They don't need physical possession of the instrument. And so when I try to convey this, they have a hard time with it because they say, well, I got to have the ID. No, you just need to see it so you can see the information on it. Well, like I said this last time, this particular guy wanted to argue with me and say, no, I need the ID. So I had to go in through arbitration and let him know, give him a notice of liability. And so what I did was when he said he needed the card, I said, no, I got it. This is my card. This is my financial instrument of which I have a right to be secure in my persons, which is supported by the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. And so if I give you this card, I have to as well give you a notice of liability that if I give you this card, you now must accept liability, full liability of capacity and status of all standings for this transaction, so that if anything goes wrong, I can hold you liable in your personal and private capacities. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to accept liability. Well, then you don't get the card. So then he turns around and says, well, I can't do the transaction then. I said, oh, so now you want to turn around and instead of me being able to assert my right of being secure in my person, you want to not only deny me that, but you want to deny me equal rights among the law because you're willing to do this transaction for other people that are willing to give that instrument to you. But because I'm following the law, you want to deny me a transaction which you offered and have already started, and now you're going to dishonor? And see, these are simple words that every man, every common man can comprehend. And so he thought about that for a second and said, well, tell you what, let's compromise. And I don't like the word compromise, the term compromise, but I accepted it because he followed it up with, how about if I just have you put it on the register and I'll just read it from there? I said, sure, I can do that, but comprehend. Now you've agreed that you only needed to see it and you did not have to have it. And he kind of looked like a dog, huh? And this is how easy it is, people. So when it comes to these commercial transactions and everything, and this is another thing, that First Amendment right, freedom of expression, okay? I have a thought that I have a right to freely express, and I'm hoping I can impress it upon him. But in order to do that, I have to be an idiot. I have to act like the common man. I have to use words that are common, that they can comprehend. And so when it comes to contracts and terms and conditions, whether they be written down on a manual style, in a manual style, or verbally expressed, it's like Frank's Red Hot Sauce. I'm going to put that shit on everything. I'm going to use the methods of arbitration. And when needed, I will give them notice of liability. And so when it comes down to all these different contracts that you're doing, particularly these ones that are so ambiguous, that have all these different terms and conditions placed upon them, I urge you to get back to your idiocy. Instead of making things so convoluted that you don't comprehend them themselves, quit it. You're making things too hard. You're making things hard on yourself. So when we think about the way we speak to each other, quit using all the terms and conditions that they want to use. Are you a national? Fuck no, I'm not a national. Excuse my language. I'm a child of God. Pure and simple. I'm your brother. You're my brothers and sisters. And I've said this many times as well. Your moms and dads are my moms and dads. Your brothers and sisters are my brothers and sisters. Your children are my children. Your nieces are my nieces. Your cousins are my cousins. And so when we think about the supreme law of love thy God with all thy heart, body, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself, when you're communicating with these people, speak to them as if though they're your brothers and sisters, not some clerk, not some employee, not some slave, not some citizen. And in doing so, put yourself in their shoes as an idiot, as a common man. And like I said, I'm an idiot, but I'm far from stupid. But being far from stupid doesn't mean that I have to use all these fancy terms and words and things. Make it simple. The First Amendment right, freedom to express yourself. Express yourself simply, so that you can make a better impression upon others, because they're going to be able to listen to you better. They're going to be able to hear you better. And you're thus going to be able to arbitrate to an agreement, a meeting of the minds, on a one-to-one level of communication, on a face-to-face basis, or in a mailing situation when you write it down. There's no need to use fancy words or clarify this or clarify that if you speak in idiotic terms, idiotic words. I've got a current situation where I'm helping a gal back in Waterloo that's in the middle of a move. And when she signed a new lease to move into a place on the 18th. She went to move in, and lo and behold, it hadn't met the standards that they agreed to. Fixtures all missing, and ceiling tiles falling, and mold, and in a wash machine that was all broken and busted. Excuse me, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to back out of this. Well, the guy said, no, you can't. You got to give me a chance to remedy. And so I explained to her, yes, you do. Give him a chance to remedy. Well, how do I do that? Well, you give him till the end of the month and tell him if it's not fixed by the end of the month, we're going to amend this contract to have the state health inspector come in to inspect the entire apartment complex. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. So here it is, the 26th tomorrow, and she's going to be ready to move in. Well, now all of a sudden she's got a problem with the landlord at the place that she's at, saying that she didn't give him 30-day notice because she's moving out on the 26th. No, she gave him 30-day notice on the 2nd of October in a 31-day month, meaning that on the 1st of November is the 30 days, which is when normal rent is due. And if you look up your tenant laws, you'll see that's what your 30-day notice is. And just because she's moving out on the 26th doesn't mean she didn't give him the 30-day notice. Because she gave him 30-day notice and was willing to pay for the whole month of October, even though she was moving out on the 18th. Then on the 18th, it didn't come to be. It got amended to the 26th. And so now that she's moving out on the 26th, this landlord's trying to say, well, you're moving out early. That's not 30-day notice. That isn't the way it works. Look at your tenant laws. The first normal date rent is due. And therefore, if you move in the middle of the month, then they don't prorate the rent generally. They charge you for the whole month. And so this is the stuff that you got to comprehend. You have to speak to him like an idiot. And that's all it is. You don't have to use all the big words. You don't have to do all this studying. You just have to use your common sense as a common man and behave like an idiot. But be smart about it. Again, like I said, I'm an idiot, but I'm far from stupid. So think about this stuff, people. And when it comes to the arbitration and the notice of liability, it's just like Frank's Red Hot Sauce. I use that shit on everything. Remember, people, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. God bless. Love you. Have a great night.